finally, something a little bit closer to my heart, which is motor racing. Gennaro Bonafede is one of South Africa's biggest motorsport stars. Gennaro made his entrance on the kart racing scene at the tender range of only 5 years old, and early on in his career, he started collecting gold, winning the Cadet Class Championship in '96, and 10 years forward in 2006, well, becoming the youngest driver to compete in the ROK World Karting Championship. He currently races for the Audi Sasolracing Team and is a well-established DJ, they tell me, in the local scene. He joins us now in studio. A very good morning to you, Gennaro. Thanks for joining us. Put a helmet on the table here. Beautiful, beautiful helmet. There we go. Cool. This is Gennaro's helmet, for those of you that don't know motor racing. I'm sure you've seen it on Lewis Hamilton and the like. But just tell us about where you're at now and what you sort of looking forward to in the months and years to come.
Yeah, well, look, obviously we started last year with Audi and Sasol, the combination in the team, so that was obviously a big thing for me, you know, being able to be sponsored by two massive companies. This year is a bit of a limbo year for us in racing. The class has changed a little bit. You know, competitors are a little bit tough out there, so you know, we're looking forward to big things. Hopefully from 2016 on, obviously the goal is to go overseas. That's the end goal for everybody. But you know, other than that, I've had a great run so far in my career. Been, you know, obviously was lucky to start at a young age, and we do what we got to do.
Now, you were in the UK racing for a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us about that experience and how do we sort of stack up compared to our local scene? And I'm especially interested in sponsorship and the like and crowds and so forth compared to the United Kingdom.
Yeah, I think, you know, in the UK I was very lucky there. You know, the conditions there are very tricky with the rain and you know, always the dodgy weather that you have to deal with as a driver. Yeah. It allows you all sorts of new things to try and do. So I think there the competition is hectic. They've got a lot of money invested in motorsport in the UK, which we are, you know, now sort of understanding. So, you know, it did me a lot of good. I think for me it was lovely to go over there, and also raced in Italy and Germany as well. You know, the guys over there are good. You know, they're world class. The
Germans, Italians, and the Brits are good. They live for this kind of thing. But I'm sure that your passion must still be single seaters. You grew up in karting and single seaters and so forth. You still harbour hopes of going overseas and getting a big single-seater seat?
Well, the thing is, I'm too tall for that. You see, that's also the problem.
That was what I was going to ask you.
I stopped racing go-karts when I was 16 because I was literally too tall. So I think at that age, I thought to myself, you know, the single-seater thing is out. But obviously, there's still other options like GT racing, Le Mans 24 hours, you know, DTM is a far cry. But obviously, you know, as a youngster, we've got dreams and hopes of making it big one day, and we'll push and see what we can do in the touring car scene. I think that's where it's really at for me, you know, in salute car racing.
Now, you say you're too tall, but a guy like Robert Kubica, I mean, you know, he did okay with minus 2% body fat, I think, at the time. You're not, you don't have to trim yourself right down like some of the taller guys, even in the touring car scene.
Yeah, we do. Look, obviously we've got a gym regime, and my engineer Vic Maharaj is quite hectic about that, keeping weight.
He's not the skinniest oak himself.
Oh, that's not nice. So, yeah, you won't be happy to hear that he's lost a lot of weight recently. So obviously, you know, the more weight I can lose on my person, the engineers can place around the car for better balance and better handling. So that's where the compromise comes in. I don't have to be the skinniest guy ever. Obviously, it helps because I kind of am. Yeah. But you know, it obviously helps us at an advantage. So you know, it does performance and more stamina actually helps us in the car because the temperatures are very high. We get to 50 degrees inside the car. I'm wearing a 3-layered, you know, fireproof suit with a helmet and balaclava. So that's where it's all at.
You probably lose 3-4 liters during a normal race.
Yeah.
But something that really interests me, a year that you're now a well-established DJ here in the local scene. What's happening with that? Is it a little bit of a pastime, or are you seeing it as a sort of secondary career?
For me, I always had a passion for music. You know, so during my young age, I used to listen to music before a race to get me psyched. And I had a few guys in the scene a few years ago, and 5-6 years ago, and I slowly taught myself. Played at H2O, played on Matric Rage in December. So, you know, it's a lot of fun. I played a lot of clubs on the weekends, and you know, it's just, for me, it's a passion. You know, I don't see it as a future career. But for now, you know, it's lots of fun. Why not? You're in the industry. In the scene.
What sort of genre are you?
House music, yeah.
House music?
So, lots of house music. No electro hectic stuff. The more chilled.
So the old school deep house,
yes,
that kind
yes,
of
the funky
stuff.
vibes.
Okay, that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
So,
I'm sure the girls love it also.
Yeah, they love it. They love a good DJ.
Let's get back to the business, though. We see you racing. The plans for 2015. You say it's going to be maybe a more quiet year this year, but what are you hoping to achieve by the end of it and setting up the next year?
Well, obviously we want to be South African champion. That's, I think, the biggest thing, you know. And with a team like us, with Audi and Sasol backing us, it's a big opportunity again. Next year there looks to be a big class coming to South Africa, which is massive. So hopefully that plans then to go overseas again will come up again. So, you know, we're out during the country. Our first race is in 2 weeks' time at Swartkops in Pretoria. So, you know, we got to do what we got to do. Cape Town, Durban, PE, East London. We'll see you guys around. I think that's where it's all at.
Well, fantastic, Gennaro. You're doing a super job racing the new Audi. Hopefully one of these days I'll be able to come and see you guys race. But we hardly ever get out to the studio here, it seems.
Yeah.
But I had an option to get into the Audi with him, actually. But I have to say that I was a bit wussing out of that one because I know how fast these guys go. My dad was a motor racer and something that I grew up with. So thanks for joining us today.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
That's Gennaro Bonafede, who's, well, a very well-known DJ on the local scene and also one of the, well, probably the biggest motor racing name in South Africa. Let's take a quick look